Until I work out otherwise, everyone should consider him dangerous and keep their distance. She nodded, though the doctor's side of her brain had already taken over, cataloging his condition. Pale, clammy, tension in his body as if maybe he was in pain, and semi-conscious, not with it, but mumbling and groaning as if he was having a bad dream or hallucinations. She'd pulled the small, palm-sized medical scanner out of her pocket automatically, before her mind had even registered the decision. "Before we leave him?" She stepped over and knelt down, holding the scanner above his chest and watching the readings scroll across the screen. "His blood pressure is a little on the low side."
Fascinating.
Ryan's tone told her exactly the opposite.
He's still breathing, so I'd call that good for him right now.
"I don't like the idea of someone being down here in the brig under questionable health." She gently grasped the soldier's chin, tilting his head toward her. Maybe it was a coincidence, but he seemed to settle somewhat at the contact. At least she wasn't losing her touch out here in the barrens of space. She gently lifted his eyelids, and with a startled half-breath, found his eyes were an astonishing light blue, almost silver. She'd never seen that exact shade of blue before. It was utterly gorgeous. But she pushed the thought aside, noting that his pupils were reactive, but a little sluggish.
Since there's a chance he's not a someone, but an alien, don't make it your concern, Kira. When he wakes up, he just needs to answer a few questions, and this can all be settled up. If he's human, I'll let him go. If not...
Ryan didn't need to spell out what came after, if not. She'd seen the way he'd dealt with the Reidar, and it always ended bloody. Not that the sociopathic parasites didn't deserve it. "And you think waking up in your brig will put him in a chatty mood?" She glanced over her shoulder, a low spike of annoyance cutting through her. Usually she took Ryan's cavalier attitude toward people as it was. But for some reason, it had started getting on her nerves today. "Not to sound like a walking cliché, but..." Kay cocked a hip, patting the Reidar stunner.
"We have ways of making him talk."
The last words were uttered in an extra deep, foreboding voice. She pushed to her feet, slipped her med scanner back into her pocket, ignoring how her annoyance was swiftly turning into frustration. "Let me know how that works out for you." As she headed for the doorway of the brig, she paused to look up at Ryan. "You'll calm me if his condition worsens?" The captain gave a single nod, and it seemed like that was all she'd be getting from him in the way of agreement, which didn't leave her with much reassurance. The notion that the soldier might be a Reidar left a creeping sensation under her skin, like skittering insects. But her ingrained sense of compassion as a doctor pushed back against the anxiety, especially since, more than anything else in the universe, she hated seeing patients mistreated. Her gut feelings had always gotten her a long way as a doctor, so she never ignored them. Something was up with this guy. Not that she necessarily thought he was Reidar. As Ryan had said, they hardly knew anything about the experimental energy weapon that revealed the alien's true form. What if he wasn't Reidar, but human? And for an unknown reason, the stunner had seriously affected him in some way it hadn't done to anyone else so far. If she hadn't heard anything by the following morning, she'd sneak back down for another check. Ryan might want everyone to leave the soldier alone, but he surely knew her well enough by now to realize she wouldn't sit idly by in her medbay while there was a clearly unwell person within the bulkheads of the Imojenna. Chapter 2.